Is there a word that you know how it's pronounced, yet you continually say it wrong? Well, that's kind of how I am with today's company, Roblox. I know obviously it's pronounced Roblox, but for whatever reason, I always want to say Roblox. So apologies in advance if I am not saying this company's name correctly or if I make the mistake and say Roblox throughout this video, but we have a lot to unpack here, so let's go ahead and get the intro out of the way. Hey everyone, thanks for joining me today. My name is Matt, and as always, before we get started here, I just need to say, this is not advice, don't take it as advice. If you need advice, speak to a financial advisor, but this is just for your entertainment purposes only. Also, if you don't mind hitting the like button, subscribing, we have a ton of new subscribers. I recently broke 1,000 subscribers, so thank you so much to all of you for staying with my channel, watching my videos, and just being very supportive throughout this entire journey. I'm very excited to have made it this far, and when I started this channel, I didn't actually think I would make it as far as I have. While still, yes, a small channel, I'm very grateful for the growth that I've had and just for all of you enjoying the videos that I've put out. But let's go ahead and talk about Roblox. If you're not familiar with Roblox, they were initially released back in 2006, and it's an online gaming platform where it allows gaming programmers to program their own games, as well as allowing others to play the games on this platform. This game is mostly played by younger people. Right now, the majority of the users that play this game are under the age of 13. However, we are starting to see that average age increase. Now, that could mean that as people grow older, that they are not actually phasing out of this game, which could be a really good sign for Roblox. Now, we could talk about those details later in this video, but for now, I really wanted to go ahead and tackle the numbers here. Now, for this week, we are going to be doing comparison with Roblox between Take-Two Interactive as well as Electronic Arts. I'm sure most of you are familiar with those game makers, and I'm sure we can make the argument here that, well, Roblox is more of a platform than it is like the actual game developer itself, but nonetheless, these are still video games, so I just thought it would be good to at least see these numbers since they are essentially in the same playing field. So for this, I was actually incredibly surprised by the market caps of these companies. Given how popular the games are for EA as well as Take-Two, I was very surprised to see that Roblox is actually the one with the highest market cap. And by a fairly significant difference, especially if we compare it to Take-Two's market cap, which is just shy of 20 billion. Not really something I tend to pay too much attention to unless I need it for like math calculations and whatnot, but I just thought it was pretty interesting to see the size difference of these market caps between all three players here. When it comes to a PE, yes, there's a dash for Roblox because they don't really have any earnings yet, or they're not a profitable company. But we do have a PE ratio for EA of 49.27 and for Take-Two at 34.76. Obviously, those are both pretty high, but I think that's what we come to expect, especially when we're looking at something like a video game company. We do have an EV to sales ratio here, but that is not pretty either. With Roblox being at 48.33, this is an incredibly highly valued company. As I've said before, when we look at an EV to sales number, we like to usually see them between 1 to 3. Obviously, not all times we're going to get that, especially in this sector. But at least 6.44 and 5 is a lot closer to 3 than what we have for Roblox here. So you might, if you're a true value investor, favor something like EA or Take-Two over Roblox. But we might be able to justify paying that higher premium for this company when we look at this revenue growth year over year. 105.77% is incredible growth for this company, especially when we take a look at it compared to EA and Take-Two at 1.66 and 9.19%. And I think that's also even further emphasized with the EBITDA growth. Remember the cash flow measurement of these companies. Roblox has done a fantastic job with that one with a 165.9% relative to EA's negative 22.78%. That was pretty interesting to me. Admittedly, no, I haven't had the time to really look deeply into why their EBITDA growth has gone down, but I just was a little surprised to see that EA had a negative EBITDA growth. That's almost a tongue twister, EA EBITDA growth. I don't know, try saying that 10 times fast. And Take-Two, with their EBITDA growth being around 53.71%, is actually really good, and that's something that I would be encouraged to see if I was a shareholder in this company. I'm not, and admittedly though, when I was doing these numbers, there was a lot about Take-Two that I really like to see. So that might be a company that I'll do further research in the future. We might do a Watch List Wednesday on Take-Two because that to me seems like they have a lot of growth opportunity. Lastly here with a quick ratio, all over 1, great thing to see. I'm not entirely sure. I would imagine that making video games is a pretty capital-intensive business. I know some video games cost over $100 million to come out with after developing, marketing, sales, all of that fun stuff. So with these companies having a lot of cash on hand is pretty reassuring to me because, again, this is going to be a capital-intensive business to be able to roll out these games. Now, I do personally believe that this is where Roblox has a little bit of an advantage, given that they don't actually make the games themselves, they are just the platform creator, and other people make the games on that platform. So I'm assuming that would have some kind of impact on their cost to come out with new experiences or games for people to play on the Roblox platform. Now, as always, I do like to take a look at Simply Wall Street's discounted cash flow, and once again, it's not pretty for Roblox. They are about 60% overvalued using that metric. It's actually probably a little less because I think they're trading a little less right now. Nonetheless, they are still an overvalued company, and we would be paying a premium for this company. I'll touch on that a little bit more later in this video, but I think But I do believe that some of the opportunities that they are providing can help justify paying a premium for a company that has such a strong looking future. And if we look here at what Simply Wall Street also has for the highlights, we do see revenues forecast to grow 27.9% per year, which is great to see. Also, with the revenue, as I mentioned, 105% growth over the past year. So that's something else that's great to see. I did want to point out here some of the risk analysis. So currently unprofitable and not going to be profitable over the next 3 years. That's something I did a little bit deeper dive into, and I'll talk about that in 1 second here. Also, when we see the significant shareholder selling in the past 3 months, basically with a company that just hit the public markets, I don't even know if it's been 3 months since they've been on the public markets, we can expect for there to be a lot of sellouts because basically going public offers investors the opportunity to have liquidity. So in a private fund or private company, you aren't as liquid as you are once you go public. So investors do typically use going public, especially with this being a direct listing, not a traditional IPO, to have the ability to kind of cash out and take some of their profits from their initial investment for helping out this company when they are private. Also, I'm going to go ahead and apologize in advance here about my lighting. Every time I look at my camera, it looks like it's getting darker. It's a dark day outside. I do depend a lot on natural light. But maybe one day I'll get a little bit better of a lighting setup so it could be more consistent. But I do apologize if it gets darker or brighter throughout this video. So I do want to quickly also touch on them not being profitable, because that is something obviously as an investor, especially as a long-term investor, always has me a little bit concerned because I'd rather see them reach profitability sooner than later, and seeing Simply Wall Street say they're not projected to be profitable in the next 3 years is something I wanted to further look into. So I did refer to their balance sheet here, and I saw that their cost of revenue has drastically increased over the past years. So that's obviously something that did not sit well with me, and I had to look a little further into that. And part of the reason with that is because they've actually been paying out more to the program developers. Now with Roblox, if you are somebody who does create these different games for people to play, you do have the opportunity to make money from that. And essentially, it's very similar to like the App Store. If you make an app and put it on Apple's App Store or the Google Play Store, they take around 30% of your profits, which might sound like a steep margin, but it's still a great opportunity to have like a side hustle or just a way to create a supplement source of income, which is something, as I've mentioned many times in the past, I really do like to see. But obviously these costs are increasing at a pretty rapid rate. You would think that this is something that can support them reaching profitability sooner than later, but obviously as an investor, as a potential shareholder, this is something that I would want to pay close attention to hopefully start either seeing that number drop or starting to see their earnings increase at a more rapid rate than this expenses. So what else do I like about this company? Well, as I just mentioned, I do really enjoy the fact that they allow for users to be able to make money or monetize on their platform. I've always enjoyed those services, but I just kind of talked about that, so I don't really need to hit on that again. Also, I decided to do a little bit of field research here and check this out on my own, considering that it's basically a free game on Xbox. And having really only spent about an hour playing the game, I can admit it's not my style of game. I generally like 2K or like Grand Theft Auto kind of games, but I was impressed with what I saw on this platform, and I also believe that they are just really scratching the surface with the capabilities of this platform itself. Yes, they've been around for whatever that would be, like 15, 16 years or something like that, but I think that this platform has a lot of potential. Now, I don't really know if this really feeds into the potential they have, but one thing I saw, and you've probably seen this as well, that I thought was very interesting, was the whole Gucci bag thing that sold on Roblox for, did I say that correctly? Yeah. for the Gucci bag that sold on Roblox for more money than it would have in real life. And this isn't like some kind of, I guess, NFT or anything along those lines. Somebody actually spent over $4,000 for a purse on a video game that would have cost them, I think, around $3,000 in real life. Still, obviously, stupid expensive, but it's crazy to see that there is that kind of upsell in this game. Another thing is they've also included ads in their game, which I'm sure this is just going to be another way for them to make money. I think it's a little strange that they'll have ads targeted towards like an 8-year-old, but nonetheless, it's not like an 8-year-old is unfamiliar with ads anyway. And with ads, obviously, while we all hate ads, they are a way of people making money, and they're actually a great source of making money or producing business. So that could be a win-win. And I think their immersive experience is something that sounds also like it has a lot of potential. You might remember from my EXP, the real estate firm video, where I talked about they had this platform where it was almost like a virtual college campus where they would meet, have meetings, play sports, all on like their computer. And at first, I really didn't understand that. But I think with Roblox, we're actually starting to see more and more experiences like that. One example I saw was that they have like virtual birthday parties through this system where you can still play games, especially if you have something like Oculus. I'm sure this could be a lot of fun to have. Or, I don't know, gatherings with people. And I guess maybe meetings. Maybe this is a bridge between virtual and in-person meetings without just being a Skype meeting where it's very easy to get distracted. So there could be a lot of potential with that whole immersive experience that I'm not seeing, but clearly seems to be a trend and something that is becoming more and more relevant. They also have a huge amount of daily active users, which is good to see. I think they actually, and don't quote me on this, might have more daily active users than Pinterest. So that is something I really like to see. I could be wrong there. They probably still have more than Twitter, but if they have more daily active users than Pinterest, that would absolutely help out this platform when it comes to making money. And since Roblox has been around, they have, I thought this is cool, this is from their website, over 30 billion hours of people playing this game, which is, well, I guess since 2008. So that is a very long time of people playing this game, and that's actually something I think is very cool to see. And as we've seen those daily active users increase, I can really only see that number going up. Again, I believe that might help them lead towards a path of profitability sooner than later. So I really do like this company. I can say, yes, if we buy it now, we're absolutely going to be paying a premium for it. It probably comes as no surprise. I already paid that premium for this company, but it is one of those that I don't want to be off my radar. So I think it's a great time to have it on a watch list because I think this has a huge opportunity up front, and maybe paying a premium for it is totally justifiable as long as they can continue to grow on the right path and, again, hopefully achieve profitability sooner than later. So let me get the portfolio pulled up and I'll be right back with you. So I bought this yesterday. As you can see, the average price was around $100.72 a share. I bought 50 shares and it was last at $100.40 a share. So we've lost some money, not a ton of money. I probably bought it at its highest price, but it obviously looks like this could be headed in the right direction for us. And it's, again, as I say almost every week, just another position I'm excited to have on my watch list because I really do see a lot of potential with this company. I also see a lot of potential to Take-Two. Again, stay tuned for that because that will probably be a watch list Wednesday sooner than later. As always, just for the highlights, Sealed Air up $200, crazy to see. Blackstone up over $1,000. You guys finally get to see Blackstone over $1,000, which is great. And VOO still being that supporting anchor that I said it would be at $268.50. Again, really just something to help offset some of these losses in this portfolio because, well, most of these positions are losing stocks. But some of them aren't really that far off from being a gainer for us in this portfolio. If we look at Lowe's, only down $20. If we look at Jumio, only down $2. And Roblox is still only down about $16 for us. So sooner than later, I'm hoping that these stocks will start to be a little bit more green than red. But even if we take a look at that heat map right there, a lot of stocks are down today, as many have been for a while now. So nothing really a surprise there. Anyway, that is my review of Roblox. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And again, thank you so much for helping me reach 1,000 subscribers. I really do appreciate that. With all that said, I'm going to wrap up here. I just got a text message about my business saying really exciting news, so I'm excited to go see what that's about. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me, and I really appreciate that. But I'll let you go ahead, enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you next time.